Just by a show of hands, how many people in the room would like to have at least 5% more success in some area in their life? So some of you don't even care. Excellent. How many people would agree that if you want at least 5% more success in some in your life, you're probably going to have to do something different? How many of you just can't be asked? See, here's the problem. We come to seminars like this, we come to conferences like this, and it's all upbeat, and we're all going to do things differently. And let me share the nasty secret about all conferences worldwide. Only 20% of this audience will do anything different based on what I share and all the other fantastic speakers have shared so far. And will share. Does that make sense? Only 20% of you are going to do anything different. Just raise your hands if you're going to be part of the 20%. Okay, you can't all put your hands up. See, there's the problem, that we start off by having a motivational speaker who wants to share ideas with you. But most of you are going to do two things. You're going to write lots and lots of notes, go home, put them on the shelves, and we call that shelf development. But the biggest issue is that most people just think change will occur. So I'm just going to ask you to be focused and be what I call in the room, if that's possible, and I'm going to share what that means in a minute. But everyone put your hands together like this, just very quickly, please. Notice which thumb is on top, please, your right or your left. This is difficult if you're holding a phone. If your right thumb is on top, it means you're much more sexually active. Why are you looking at his thumb? First thing you did was just check his thumb out. If your left thumb is on top, it means you're much more mathematically minded. Bummer, eh? Both thumbs like that, you're into sheep, but that's another presentation. Keep your hands like that for one moment. That's classic motivation, that someone will talk about change and doing things differently. The problem is, though, we do what we like doing. So here's the first exercise. Move all of your fingers up one so the other thumb comes on top. What are you trying to do there, sir? That's not really going to do much, is it? How does that feel for some of you? This is going to be an interactive presentation. I'm going to do all the work. How does it feel? Sexually active. Yep, got that, sir. Thank you. It doesn't quite feel right, and what most of you probably want to do is move it back to the way it was. Because that's what we want to do. We want to go back to doing the old customer service ways. We don't want to hear new ideas. Take your hands away. Put them back together again. Ah, that's better. And you're going to go back to what's normal. So here's an idea. Over the next 30-odd minutes or so, we're going to play a bit, have some fun, do some things a little bit differently. And some of you are going to go, I haven't come for that. Oh, yes, you have. So let's just see how my little gadget works here. So I'm going to share two presentations in one because we're going to give you maximum value. We're going to do a bit about the impact code and we're going to do it to zero around here. So you're going to find out before you leave what animal you are, because that will change the way you talk to your customers, and you'll have an understanding why your customers just don't understand your language. Two quick quotes. The first one says, no one can go back and make a brand new start, but everyone can start right now and make a brand new ending. Do you agree with that quote? Okay, we need a bit of interaction here, because if you say no to this, I've got to change my whole presentation. A few of you are not sure. It's not that complicated, that one. You just can't change the past. Would you agree? Some of you keep looking over your past and analysis and doing data. You can't change that. You were shite. It didn't work. We've got to do something different. Does that make sense? Just thought I'd share that with you. But you spend months and months looking at stuff you can't change. But the best one comes from Damon Roddick, who says, if you think you're too small to make an impact, try going to bed with a mosquito in the room. Everything you do, if you want to change your customer experience, is to make an impact. And if you're not making an impact, why are you doing it? So, my big story with everyone I've ever worked with is this one thing which will change the way customers interact with you and you interact with customers, which says, if you're in the room, be in the room. Now, I'll repeat that because some of you are not. There's people on their phones, there's people writing notes, and all I'm asking you to do is to be in the room. But how many of you have ever had that experience that you're somewhere, but you want to be somewhere else? And right now, some of you think, I want to hear her speak just a bit more. I was hearing about the water, I enjoyed that. But I'm now here. And there's some of you thinking, when is the coffee break? It's soon. How many of you have ever been driving your car and you answer your phone, even on hands-free? You're not in the room. That's why there's so many accidents. Do not think I'm some sort of angel and I do everything perfectly. But I'm telling you now, right now, the most important people in the world are in this room. The only people who I love in the whole of the world are in this room, including you. Hard to believe. But you know why this is the most important room, this is the most important people? Because that's who's here. But how many times do you spend thinking about your next customer, your last customer, and your next meeting? See, if you're in the room, be in the room. If you got that concept, your customer focus would change. But most of you are thinking about strategies for the future when right now you've got a customer in front of you. Because see, if you're not in the room, this is what tends to happen. That's what life looks like for most of you. You're so focused on what's not actually occurring right now. So I'm here, you're here. Does that make sense? How many of you are still on your phones thinking about what's going on next? See, there's some great stuff going on next. We're going to hear about new ideas and the new technology. But right now, you've got me. And you may not like that, but that's all there is. So here's the game for most people. If you're not happy where you are, leave. But don't bitch and moan where you are about thinking about something else, and when you get there, you think you should have been here. Just by show of hands, how many people in the room here are parents? How many of you have or had parents? You're struggling with these questions, sir. They're not that complicated, trust me. But very often as parents, we say we want to spend more time with our kids, and when you're with your kids, you're not with them. Anyone had that experience? You get home, and you've spent all day talking about your kids, then you're there, and you're not with them. Just think about that. So, just by a show of hands, how many people in the room here talk to themselves, please? I love what you keep doing. Can I just give your first name? Because it's John. Oh, maybe not. HMRC, so I'll be nice, okay? Okay. So here was the question, just by a show of hands, how many people in the room talk to themselves? And this was you, John. Do I talk to myself? No, I think I do. Which is cool for most people, would you agree? Because most people in this room talk to themselves, would you agree? The question is, how are you talking to yourself? Are you uplifting or depressing? Are you building yourself up or talking yourself down? How many of you have ever had to ring a client to share bad news? Anybody? How was it just that second before? How many of you are going, oh, I can't wait. This is going to be a phenomenal experience. Because you went into what we call commentator mode immediately. But imagine you went, you know what, I've got to make this phone call, and then I can have some fun. Does that make sense? It's all a choice about how you talk to yourselves internally as well as externally. We spend millions of pounds on external communication. If you spent the same amount of money as on internal communication, your lives would change. I'm at the back of the room. I've now got to make a decision. I've got to follow a great speaker. She shared some great information, and I'm next. Has anybody ever done public speaking, and you've got to follow a phenomenal speaker? In the back of the room, this is what most people are doing. Oh, my God, please don't, just be awful. Fail. Because I'm not that good, but at least it'll be better. Or you go, I've got some great stuff. The reason they've invited me is I've got stuff to share. So I'm going to ask you, through my presentation, that there'll be times when you go into what I call commentator mode. And you're going to go, I don't agree. I'm not asking you to agree or disagree. I'm asking you to just have an open mind. And there are times where you're going to go into coach mode. You go, this is brilliant. It's not brilliant. It's just better than what you thought. Just thought I'd share that as well. The problem is when you go into commentator mode, what do you think happens to your service level to your clients? What do you think happens to the energy in the workplace when you're in commentator mode? Has anybody ever been to one of these meetings where somebody says, look, we tried this last month, it was not going to work. And the whole energy just goes in that second. The coach would say, you know what, we've tried some things in the past, that didn't work, but I've got some new ideas that might work. And this isn't about positive mental attitude and all that stuff. It's just about changing internal language. And most of us, has anyone ever got lost driving? Because I did it on the way here. I kind of went to the Docklands airport, because it's close. You know, to the city airport. That's where I got to. And I tell you what I did not say. I did not say, well, this is God's way of showing me a new way. That's what I should have said as the coach. What I kind of said was, oh my God, how stupid am I? No, I did not use the F word, ma'am. Yes, you so did. I lip read from 300 meters. I saw that. So, here's the question. I need you to be in the room. Does that make sense? How many of you are in the room right now? How many of you want to leave the room, but you don't know where the toilet break is? See, if you need to go pee, go and pee. There's nothing worse than being in a room thinking, I need to pee, and then you're not in the room and you're not peeing. People at the back, slightly older people, if you need to leave, just go and do it. That's fine. Don, if you need to go, okay, that's fine. So, everyone do this, please. It's interactive, very quickly. Everyone make a circle like this, very quickly. Everyone put it to your chin, very quickly. Excellent, that's your chin. So one person, well done. The rest of your colleagues are going, I like this, I can do this, I like this guy, very good. The problem is in customer experience, customer service, we just watch what everyone else does. And even if they're not great, we'll just watch them. And then we decide we'll just be 1% better than United, then at least we're okay. That's what we kind of do. We see what everyone else is doing, and then within 3 minutes, I was in the States when this all occurred, within 3 minutes, American Airlines do exactly the same. But they didn't kill the person, they just beat the woman up with a buggy. So it's not as bad as dragging the person off. So all the other airlines are just doing the same thing. We'll just be a bit better than them. What you want to do is be the best you can be. And in customer service, model off the very best. Who's the very best you've ever had an experience from? And model their behavior. However, I'm going to put up a word on the screen. As soon as you see the word on the screen, I want you to shout it out. You need to look up, sir. It's coming. It's over here. Just thought I'd share that, okay? You ready? I love that. Opportunity is nowhere. So that's brilliant. That's a nice motivational message. So for some of you, it says opportunity is nowhere. For some of you, it says opportunity is now here. And when I work with school kids, and I do a lot of work with school kids, it says opportunity is nowhere. Here's the point. It doesn't mean you're negative or positive, whatever you read. It just says you read what you read. But it is amazing how often we won't see the possibilities of the future about what we could do. We'll only see what doesn't work. I look for opportunities wherever I go in the world. And I was staying in a hotel recently, and in the hotel that I was staying in recently, there was a sign above the bathroom mirror. Sign above the bathroom mirror said, please do not steal the hotel towels. And any hotel towel you steal, there'll be a $5 charge. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that sign offended me. Because I'd never ever thought about stealing the hotel towels. Until then. I picked up this hotel towel, it was about this wide. It was about this long. And it was white, and it was soft, it was fluffy. It was only $5. I took 4. You see, the question is, if you see a phenomenal opportunity, why wouldn't you take it? And in the breaks, my suggestion would be, and I'm not being paid to say this, speak to other people who do similar things to you and find out what do they do that really works. Speak to the organisers, find out what they do to help your business. Does that make sense? Because what we tend to do, if we come with people we know, we just stay with people we know. That's not really the way of networking, by the way. Just thought I'd share that. But let's go one stage further. Here comes the exciting bit. Are you ready? In a minute, something's going to come up on the screen. As soon as you see what comes up on the screen, I want you to shout it out. But I want a bit more vocal, you know. Yeah, a bit crazy. Is that okay? I'm watching. Okay, just stop. Jen, it's Jen, isn't it? This is the best you've got, is it? I mean, I came back from the States. You promised me an enthusiastic 120 people in the audience, the best we've got in customer service. That's what you promised. Do you remember that? Are they coming later? Am I like the warm-up? This is the best we've got, is it? Okay, I got here about 7 o'clock this morning to make sure the AV was right, the biggest square we could have, the biggest screen, and up comes the hardest slide I've got, and 100 people went like this. Now, I don't want to know what it is, and I'll do all the work. To all the people with the mics, I'm going to do all the work here. I don't want to know what it is, but I want to, except one person who nearly murmured something, 109 people didn't say a word. So this is the customer experience show. We're going to have a phenomenal event. Up comes the hardest slide I've got. Just want to know what stopped you sharing something. This is the interactive part. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to get it wrong? Now, tell me, who do you work with, ma'am? Yeah. Sorry? Mighty, that's your company. Yeah. What do you do in Mighty? Service improvement, and we struggled with this one. I think you know what this is, ma'am. I swear to God, I think you do. But was there a fear you might get it wrong, and then you'd look silly, and then be embarrassed like it looks like we are now? Okay. What else? There was a few other people with their hands up. What stopped you? Yes, sir. Processing. Okay, well, I need to leave it, like, soon. Am I on to like 11:35, roughly? Is that right? Okay, I've got to go soon, but you're processing.
Different options.
Okay, okay. Yeah, okay, so there were options, and you're still processing.
Yeah, we only stopped for 2 seconds.
I know, it was 7, but that's okay, but don't worry. Anyone else? Remember, I'm on your side. Yeah, anyone else? No one's going. Yes, ma'am, right at the back. Not standing out. Have a guess what you are right now, ma'am. He's standing out, okay. Anyone else? One other answer I'm looking for. I do this with school kids a lot, this slide, and this is all about communication, this slide. When I work with school kids, how many answers do you think I get? Loads. Why would I get loads when I work with kids? Imagination. Because they see things in different ways, or they see things as the way it is. Then we get some of the brightest people in the UK, customer service, and it was like this. Just by a show of hands, how many of you were children? So when we were kids, we knew what this was, and then as we grow up, then what happens is our interaction with people start to get a little bit confused because we're looking for the perfect answer, not even the right answer. Would that be fair, ma'am? You see, there's no perfect answers, there's just excellent answers. When I work with kids, they'll tell me it's a black dot. Look at my daddy's nose when he's reading me a story. It's looking down from space, seeing a Frenchman on a bicycle, that's his beret. It's the end of a polar bear's nose, it's going through a tunnel, it's a mosquito hitting a windscreen. They're all the possibilities, and in this room it was like this. Oh no, I need some more time. Are we still processing? You're still processing. Okay, I'll leave you. Okay. See, in life, you've got to be in the room and you have to model off the best and you've got to be passionate and go a little bit crazy with your customers. Would you agree? Your customers, what they want is an answer. They don't even care if it's a bad answer, right? They want an answer of some sort. But when we're processing and we're looking at the old files and I need to check data, the best is when you ring up somebody and then you ask them for their name and address. You rang me up. What do you want my name and address for? You know who I am, you rang me. Well, data protection. No, it's not. You're just too lazy to find the information out. But that's how it seems. So let's go one stage further. We're going to skip 2 slides here. So here's the question. You need to be in the room. Would you agree? You need to model off the best. And would you agree you've got to be passionate? But there's a bigger problem. Let's have a bit of fun here. £20 note here. Who would like it? Okay, £25. Who would like it?
Thank you very much. No? Thank you.
Pleasure. That was hard work. You didn't have very far to go, sir, did you? Any more laid back, it's called horizontal, isn't it? What stopped you coming for the money?
I didn't think of it. I thought it was a catch.
There was a catch. You had to get up. You had to do something different. You had to, if you're going to write anything down, write these 4 letters down. G-O-Y-A. Very good. I was going to say anatomy, ma'am. But yeah. But that's the point. You see, my fear is when all is said and done, much more is said than done. A lot will get said today. Would you agree? A lot will get promised. A lot of actions are going to get written down. And only 20% is going to get actually achieved. I don't care if people like me or not. What I really care is their businesses change. I used to want to be liked. I've given that one up because that doesn't change businesses. Does that make sense? So let's go one stage further. Let's have some fun with you guys. If you've got to be in the room and you model off the best and you're passionate, that's imp. And we know we've got to take some action, which we're not that good at. Really. But the hardest thing you can do if you want to work with people is communicate with them. Has anybody ever got to communicate with people? Just thought I'd ask that question. Yeah? Anyone ever struggled communicating with someone even when you're speaking the same language? Because I am today. So how many of you have done Myers-Briggs, Bell-Bin, DISC? Anybody? Who's done Myers-Briggs? Okay, so what am I? Yeah, there's the first problem. So you know who you are, but it's difficult to work out who I am. And one of the biggest problems with someone like Myers-Briggs, and I like the program, by the way, I'm not knocking any of the other programs, is that you often find out who you are, but the problem is you don't talk to yourself that often. And when you do talk to yourself, it's often as a commentator. So I'm going to give you a very simple method to use. If you want to plagiarize it, copy it, you're going to do whatever you do, you're going to take pictures, I know you're going to do that. I've got some books at the back, it will make it easy for you. So I hate categorizing people, but I'm going to do it for a minute, and then we're all going to leave at the coffee break with the same title. Is that okay? Just say yes for this bit. Right. So all of you in this room are one of the 4 categories. You can't not be one of the 4 categories. So top left, sociable, dynamic, responsive, enthusiastic, persuasive. Top right, competitive, demanding, determined, strong, with purposeful. Bottom left, caring, encouraging, zero, patient, relaxed. Bottom right, cautious, precise, deliberate, questioning, formal. You are predominantly one of the 4 quadrants. You can't not be. If you're unsure which quadrant you are, you're bottom right. It will just save time. So does everyone know where you are? You're processing. Okay. You don't want to get it wrong. You're still thinking. So does everyone know roughly where you are? Now, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to turn to your colleague. We're not going to do any exercise here. And just tell them whether you're top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Because in a minute, I'm going to tell you what animal they represent. And when you find out the animal you represent, you can't change your mind. Bottom right, sir, John, I would think. Yes? Yes, I thought so. Everyone know where you are? I'm watching. Everyone know where you are? You're not that. You might be, but he's not. When you're pissed, you might be, but you're not. Okay. Everyone know where you are? Okay. When we get to your category, the animal's going to come up. I want the appropriate animal noise. Because this is really key for long-term feedback in the future. So rant and rave know how to communicate to you. So I want the appropriate animal noises. Is that okay? So, top right are the monkeys. I knew we'd have a few here. Top left are the lions. Bottom left are the dolphins. Hold on, we've got some distressed dolphins here. And bottom right are the elephants. So, would you agree we've got all 4 different animals in the room? There's a few who are a bit confused. I'm not disagreeing you could be 4 words of one and one of the other. But I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but I am, and you are going to find this hard to believe, but I'm a massive, massive monkey. And I've been a monkey all my life. And there are some massive advantages of being a monkey and some disadvantages of being a monkey. One of the advantages of being a monkey is you get a phone call from Rant and Rave. Will you do our conference? And this is what you do. Yeah, no problem. Because that's what monkeys do. It doesn't matter what the exercise is, we'd love to. Now, I was in the States last week, and at Christmas time, I know you'll find this hard to believe, I had a brain aneurysm, so I've got to take things really slowly. So I did Ukraine, Dallas, Belfast, and Florida in the last month, and then I was coming here, and I knew it was near an airport, so I went to City Airport, because I thought that's where the venue was, because it's got to be near. And it is near, and to a monkey, that's close enough. And of course, then you get to the airport, and you're going to go, it's probably too far. So I had to turn around and go another 3 miles. But monkeys, we are ambitious. We love an idea. We love a plan. It's in the Docklands area. Well, the only place I know in the Docklands is the airport. So that's where I went. Then I looked for the people, and there was no funny emojis outside, so I thought it was the wrong place. But for monkeys, that's all okay. It's a bit of fun. I flew to Dallas a couple of weeks ago to work with Gartners, 3,000 people. And as I'm on the plane gets cancelled. And it's in Dallas, so I went, no problem. I'll just fly to America and get an Uber. So I flew to Chicago. It's a little bit further than you think when you look at your iPhone, Chicago to Dallas. So I then got an internal flight, but to a monkey, this is not a problem. It's all a bit of fun. But monkeys have 2 problems, and if you have monkeys in your team, you're going to realize this. We are not good at completing data. We're great at a new project. But our biggest problem is being in the room. And the monkeys right now are thinking there's got to be a coffee break soon. Because, it's nearly 11 o'clock. It's nearly 11:30. It's got to be soon. So where are my fellow monkeys? Where are you? Welcome. Still not sure, sir, but that's okay. So welcome to the monkeys. Then we've got the lions. And we will have some lions here. Lions run the customer exchange program. Oh, yes, they do. They have a mission to change the world, and they're going this way to change the world. Any moment in time they change their minds and go this way, they've had to change their heart. Lions would rather be right than happy. They are on a mission to change the world, and the biggest problem with lions is in meetings they can act like seagulls. Seagulls will fly into a meeting, they'll fly really low, shit on people, and fly out again. Where are my fellow lions? Where are you? Yes, I thought so. Look at that. Yes, I'm the lion. I'm just enjoying some of this. Yes. Welcome. Then we've got the elephants. Now, this is a cool hat. Now, there is a problem right now for the monkeys. Because the monkeys are thinking one thing and one thing only right now. Where to get the hats from? They can't listen to a word I'm saying right now. They go, I like those hats. The lion's going, stupid boy. The elephant's going, this is about us. And the dolphin's going, oh, bless, that's lovely. Elephants have a very different process altogether. And when they came in, there was a program. Everyone see it? Okay, so this for the monkeys is a program. The lions looked in it and thought, is my name here somewhere? The elephants thought there's not enough information, so they may have picked up one of these. It's a lot of information, but they love this. That's like an orgasm to an elephant. This is lots of information. And the dolphins are going to wait to go to the back of the room because there's sunglasses and pens. I'm going to pick up 2 for their children. I have 2 children. Yes, not just one. I had to pick up 2. So the stock that's at the back of the room, and there's some cool stuff. There's glasses and there's little emoji things. The dolphins are going to take loads. The monkeys are going to do this. There's going to be hundreds of these all over the place because we're never going to take them home. So the sunglasses look like a good idea, but we're never going to take them home. So you need to think about this that you're going to have lots of different stuff. But just let's not leave out the dolphins, because it's... This is lovely. You're a dolphin, weren't we? Yeah, I thought so. And I think it's time. Come on, it's time. It's time. It's time. You can let go. You can let go. And what was the very first thing you did? A little bit of windy pops, just in case I wasn't winded. Can I have 2 minutes more? No, we're going to have that. You'll have a majority. See, what normally happens, can I just... So who are the Dolphins? Who are the rest of the Dolphins? Okay. So what tends to happen is when you're under pressure, you will revert to home territory. And I think when you're under pressure, you're going to lion/elephant mode. When you're under pressure. Just thought I'd share that with you. My pleasure. So I'm going to move on very quickly. I don't want to upset you or insult you at all. Over here with the monkeys, we can do whatever we like. But so you will have a mixture. So I'm massively monkey, and I do a lot of work with chief execs, so I have some lion tendencies, and I do a lot of counselling and therapy and coaching, so I have some dolphin. I have no elephant in me at all. There is no elephant in me at all. So we have a majority of one, we're under pressure. And if I was late and etc., I haven't followed the regime, I have no idea what time the program ends, because I'm a monkey, I don't really care. But as a lion, I know there's a coffee break coming soon, and the lions do care because they're much more important. The elephants would think I should know the structure by now. I've been doing this for 19 years. And the dolphins are going, oh, bless, he's doing the best he can. He had a brain aneurysm at Christmas. Leave him alone. So for everyone in the room, I'm agreeing with you. We are not just one, but we have a majority of one. And when you're under pressure, and when your client is ranting and raving at you, and you are ranting and raving at them, you're going to your own box. Does that make sense? If you had 3 weeks to prepare your presentation, you might be 3 out of the 4. It is very rare that a speaker is good at all 4. So your job from today, are you ready for this? Is to let go of the animals and become an effective zookeeper. That is your job from today. And it sounds simple, but it is. Because I have to work with many different people, and I've got to be short, sharp, to the point. We've got to finish in about 3 minutes. For the monkeys, they're having fun, so they don't care. The elephants, they could be here for 7 days without a water break. They'd be fine as long as there was information. And the dolphins, as long as everyone else is enjoying themselves, it would be okay. But I wrote a book on communication, and when I wrote a book on communication, this is where you're talking exactly. You've got to make sure you're writing in their language, not yours. So for the monkeys in the room, there's lots of coloured paper. There's even a joke on the very first page, which says, if you go to the zoo, always take something to feed the animals, even if the sign says don't feed the animals. Remember, it wasn't the animals that put the signs up. For the lions in the room, not many words on each page, but they're very important words because we know you're very busy people. For the elephants, where are some of the elephants? Because, just to look at you, just easier. This is exciting for you. Ooh. Yeah, and the words were, that's lovely. Yeah, that's all we need. And there's another page of this nonsense just for you. Yeah, just for you. And then for the dolphins, printed on recycled paper. So here's the point for all of you to understand. Whose language are you speaking in from today to make sure your experience is shared with your team and your customers? When you're under pressure, you'll go back to your animal. Does that make sense? And when you're committed and you want to make change, you'll become an effective zookeeper. Because that's what it looks like out there. Because it is a zoo there. So I'm going to leave you with 2 quick videos. Can we go to the one on the left, please? So that's where we are, a minute before the end of my presentation. I've shared some ideas. I've told you about being a zookeeper. I've virtually got most of the animals here, and you've got to be in the room. The problem is nothing's really changed yet. Would you agree? What we've got to do if you want to make a change is do what on the right side, please. So the questions, my friend, is if you're interested and you want to go further, you've got to do something different. Does that make sense? So my time is up. Alison's at the back of the room. We've got some animal books if anyone's interested. And Alison's been working with me about 20 odd years. And she's still amazed at the job that I do. And she remembers when I had a proper job. And I said to Alison the other day, I said, Alison, in your wildest dreams, did you ever believe I'd be doing a job like this? And she went, Nigel, in my wildest dreams, you don't even show up. So I'm just the same as everyone else. Have a fantastic day. Network over the coffee break. Remember to be a zookeeper and be in the room. Thank you so much indeed.